Hello creatives, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela, I'm an illustrator and graphic designer. We're going to continue our 12 designs of Christmas across time. Today we're going to be in the year 2000, yes, Y2K, with the entire digital age that has started and, well, not really started, but boomed during this time. Everything was turning digital. It was like the technological era. If you all are liking these videos, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I know I have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you. I always appreciate it. Let's dive into Illustrator and create a very DigiLit Christmas pattern. So this could be something that could be on pretty much anything. It could be on bedding, it could be like pillows, like it could be anywhere you want really. Diving in the year Y2K was definitely different from what has been happening in the past few decades because oh my gosh, computers went, at that time, they went viral. And Apple had a massive boom as well. Like the first iPhone was released in 2007. And then you had a whole bunch of other things that came out in the year 2000 and 2001. The Sims game came out, and you also had, I believe, PS2 came out in 2001, if I'm not wrong. I think that's right. You also had like the first terabyte hard drive, like external hard drive. You had USB flash drives, junk drives, memory sticks, whatever you want to call them. Those all came out during this time as well. So there was a lot of technologically advanced things launching. Also, Apple did their massive box computer, not monitor, but like modem. They did like their whole massive thing, and they just like kept growing. Their first Apple store opened, like all this stuff. And Windows XP came out, and you had Mac OS X, I think, came out before 2010, I think. So we're gonna make a very digitally advanced Christmas pattern. I have a 1920 by 1080 pixel artboard here just to give myself a lot of space. And let's start with, I kind of want to start with the PS2 controller because the PS2 controller was something that was really fun. I remember having a PS2 because Xbox didn't come out until like a year later or something, but the PlayStation platform was like the big thing, and I had a PS1 and I had a PS2. PS2 I definitely remember because it was like the coolest thing that ever came out, really. Oh, you know what? I think also the first MacBook Air, I think also came out during this time. So I may include that. And it's just gonna be like gifts and all the digital presents that you could ever want from the year 2000 to 2009. Let's start off with a PS2 controller. I'm gonna use a reference photo only because I don't exactly, like I kind of know what it looks like, but I also kind of don't. Like I know the overall shape, but like Xbox came out during this time too, but the PlayStation platform was just so much more popular at that time. I remember playing The Sims. Oh my god, The Sims was like the best game ever. It was just like a good time for like games, you know? I have a reference photo. So I'm gonna null the fill for right now. And I'm just gonna start over here. And we're going to do some really fun patterns. We're gonna use pattern tool here, and I'm going to show you how that all works out. So I'm going to just start by using the pen tool, drawing out my shape kind of roughly here, and then I'll go back and I'll fix it. Is there anything that you guys remember from the year Y2K? I don't know if any, actually some of you might be too young, but for those of you who aren't too young, what do you remember? Like, what do you remember the most? I'm fascinated to find out, like, what games you played, what devices you were like super excited for. Wow, that looks terrible. I'm gonna fix it. All right, so you all can see what I am doing. I'm gonna increase the stroke a bit so that way you can see better. All right, this is not gonna look like this. Also, I think, yes, okay. You can move the touch selector, by the way. I did not go over this with my latest Illustrator, like what's new video, whatnot, for the iPad. But for the touch selector on the iPad, you can move it. If you hold, press and hold, you can move it on the screen wherever you need it. So if it's in your way, just press and hold and drag it across the screen and then release. And you can have it out of your way for when it gets in your way. Touch selector. Now I have to get used to it being up here. Break a handle. Always got to break them handles by holding down your touch selector. But yes, the PS2 was all the rage at this time. I was very excited for it. I was like You have got to be joking. Like a really cool, like futuristic looking game console. Yes, please. In my latest video, before I started this series, I reviewed grids and guides and rulers and stuff as like the new thing. You can go into this precision icon here, turn on rulers. You see this color right here under guides? You can actually change that, which is so handy because sometimes I just can't see this bright freaking teal color. So I'm gonna make this a dark, dark teal color so I can see it. Tap and drag from the ruler down anywhere you need a guide to be placed, and it'll show up for you. By the way, if you all are struggling with the pen tool, I do have a whole series called Pen Tool Basics on my channel. If you all need a little bit more of a refresher course, or maybe it's your first time using the pen tool, that will help. It's there for you. I think I'm getting this pretty accurate. All right, and then under the stroke line, I'm gonna select this option down here, and that way it takes all those like shooting sharp triangular points away from the turning points of the stroke. Okay, this looks a little awkward. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then we had the famous buttons, the triangle, square, circle, and X. Not from Squid Game, but those were the classic buttons on the PS2 controller. Alright, so there are our symbols, our buttons. Sorry about that, everybody. My camera ran out of space. I mean, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be the year 2000 without a technological problem, right? So this is what it ended up looking like, the whole PS2 controller. So this is what it ended up looking like. I think I may need to move these slightly as well. Here they are. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one. Yes. Now we're going to move on to the flash drive, the USB drive, the jump drive, the memory stick, whatever you call it, or whatever you called it if you were, you know, working in computers at that time. I'm going to design one of those. I'm going to use our square tool. Everything was either black and white during that time. Like all technology was either black, white, or tan. So I'm just going to stick with black, and it's going to be a very techie pattern. They were the first portable, we're not the first actually, scratch discs, like CD discs and floppy disks were before. But this was a much better invention as far as the space that you can have in a little tiny stick instead of a big disc or a big square floppy disk, basically. And it couldn't get scratched and it couldn't be ruined by magnets. So should I make it? I think I want to make it on an angle actually. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Let me just duplicate this one again. I'll set it over to the side because I'm going to do a different color over here. All right, now let's combine them. I'm going to flop my fill for my stroke, duplicate it, pull it up. I'm going to make it a gray. Let's make it teal. It doesn't matter what the color is, but I just wanted to showcase to you guys what I'm doing here. Select both of these and go into the combine objects, and I'm going to choose the shape builder selection up here, hold down my touch selector, draw out twice, and it creates a very specialized unique shape. I'm going to make this a different color. It's dark gray here. Set that in place. And usually on these there was a locking feature, which was so brand new at the time. Just like a rectangular disc. just going to select all of this and group it together just so that way we keep our objects together. And then we're going to move on to the first Apple iPhone, and I think I'm going to do a MacBook Air, the first MacBook Air. Okay, so the Apple iPhone, the first one, that one, I'm going to also do like a present as well. So if I'm not mistaken, the first Apple iPhone was like a silver color, and it was very rounded. It had very rounded edges. There wasn't much screen space on it, so let's do this, like that. I think it was like that. I'm going to take this back shape, I'm going to duplicate it, hold down my touch selector, slide to either direction, left, right, up, down, whatever. I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to make it black. Double tap to deselect out. I'm just trying to make it look like the color of the iPhone's behind it. This kind of went a little too much. That kind of went a little too much. And then you had the famous home button. It was like a physical button on the iPhone. And I think it had a rounded square in it or something. I think. Large. There we go. And it was a physical button. I know all of you in the comments are probably yelling at me like, of course it was white. I do remember there was a slot up here. I think that's pretty accurate. What do you guys think? Is that pretty accurate? I hope it is. Again, select it all, group it together. Well, I guess I could duplicate it because these things are so tiny. Do the Apple iPhone here in the middle. And then we're going to do the MacBook Air, which again was silver. I don't know what was with Apple and like the whole silver train, but all their tech was like silver, and it was so new and so different that everyone just went nuts for it. And I was like, oh. Just to kind of break up like the colors that are going on here, let's do some presents. There we go. Now we have our pattern set up here. Now we can actually create the pattern itself now that we have all the elements in play. Okay, so let me turn my rulers off just because they're a bit distracting. Okay, I'm going to select everything here. I'm going to go down to this second to the last icon down here on the right toolbar, and we're going to create a pattern. On a grid pattern, and boom, look at that. It already takes it and makes it go across almost the entire screen, but look at that. Wow. That's impressive. All right, I think I'm gonna end the pattern right there. I'm gonna bring it down and end it there. And here is our DigiLitChristmas.com Christmas pattern. What do you guys think? I think it came out so good. Now you can add a little bit more detail. You can move things around. Let me show you actually. See how this flash, let me zoom in. See how this flash drive looks a little too close to the MacBook Air? You can always go in, tap on the pattern, double tap in, and you can move things. You can move things within the pattern like so. You can select the pattern itself, and you see this toggle switch up here with double opposing arrows. You may not be able to see it too well, but it is there. If you tap on it and drag, okay, I missed. If you tap and drag, it gives you more spacing options in between elements here, just like so. And then it also gives you more spacing vertically as well. So if you need more spacing that way, it'll do it that way too. This, pull that down, pull that handle down. There we go. All right, what do you guys think? I think it came out so good. I'm so happy with it. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the year 2000, from the year 2000 to 2009, and got a little bit more into tech history. I wasn't gonna do text in this, but I will let you know the Gotham font family was all the rage during this time, as well as Museo and new versions of Palatino fonts were coming out during this time as well. So there's a whole bunch, and Corbel. Corbel actually came out during this time too. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did like it and enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you haven't, and that way you get notified whenever I make a new video. And I will see you all for the next video in this series, which is going to be 2010. So I will see you all then. See you soon, creatives.